Good morning, it's Lisa with Lisa Heal Yourself, and today I want to talk about mental and emotional healing. Not of your past trauma, not of your wounds, but of your current symptoms, of your current illness. So if you're excited to watch this video, give it a thumbs up and let's get into it. When we talk about mental and emotional healing, we often and mostly think of it in regards to our past, to our traumas, to the things that have happened in our life, those big major events, the relationships, the people, the past traumas, the past situations, the past experiences, the past stories that we live our life through and can't quite get over. This is what a lot of us focus on when it comes to mental and emotional healing. And for good reason. These events really get trapped in our body, in our system. These thoughts and emotions need to be worked through and healed so that we can release them and let them go. But often when we're working on mental and emotional healing, we forget to mentally and emotionally heal what is our current struggle. What is the struggle in the present day moment that needs attention, that needs witnessing, that needs healing? And this is our illness itself. These are the symptoms themselves that we live with on a daily basis. And often it can be hard to heal these because they're not a past thing that has happened and is over and now we can work through. Because they're not a past thing that is over, that is behind us. And now we can go back, look at it, dissect it, and work through it, knowing that it can't hurt us anymore, that it no longer exists. But what about in the present, when our illness is not over, when our symptoms are still happening, when this is an ongoing trauma, an ongoing experience that we are currently living through and are currently being affected by on a daily basis? A lot of us overlook this, assuming we can't heal this part of it until it's in the past, until we can confidently say that it's behind us. And then we can, like with our past traumas, our past relationships, our past experiences, go in, witness, feel, and heal. But when we are in the present, when we're in the current moment, and we're faced with our current illness in a very real way, when the symptoms and sensations of that are very real and very alive and causing us trauma and turmoil in the present, we think it's very difficult or impossible to heal because it's current, it's ongoing, it's still happening. How can you heal something that is still happening? In a way, that's true. If somebody is cutting your skin, it's very hard to heal that. If they have cut it and walked away, now the healing process can begin. Now that the actual cutting is over, the gaping hole is there and healing can start. As long as you're still cutting the skin, it's very hard to heal that open wound. So many people think that it's impossible. And it may be physically impossible to heal that wound while the wound is still being inflicted. But mentally, emotionally, we can begin to heal that wound even in the present. And this is what's so amazing about mind-body healing. Your illness has to go through its steps of healing, and your body can't physically begin to heal until the physical assault calms down and you can physically allow your body to heal. But often with chronic illness, the part of the illness that is so bad is our mental thoughts and our emotional feelings about the story, about the illness, about the symptoms, about the sensations, about what is happening right here and now, which amplifies the physical. It amplifies the illness itself. Just like if you have a cut and you are thinking, oh my God, I'm losing blood, I'm going to die, this is not going to be okay, and you're hysterical. Mentally, the thoughts are out of control, and emotionally, you're feeling extreme suffering, pain, loss, hopelessness, and your story is pulling you down. You're in a fear state. You're living in anxiety and depression. This is going to amplify what's happening. But if you are being cut, if you have a large open wound, and you tell yourself, everything's okay, I'm okay, this is happening now, but it is going to heal. All is going to be well. My body is strong. And you're telling yourself mental stories that are the opposite to what's happening. And your emotions are staying neutral. You're not devolving into fear and hysteria and sadness and hopelessness and helplessness. And your emotions are able to stay more neutral, feeling grateful for all the things that you have in your life, feeling grateful that for a body that's going to heal this, feeling grateful that it's not worse, feeling proud of yourself for taking actions to heal it, feeling confident in your ability to take care of this. When our emotions stay stable, it makes everything less. It makes the actual physical wound less. Because what happens is our mental and our emotional amplify everything that's happening in the physical. It amplifies our illness. It amplifies every sensation and symptom that you have. So it's our job to deactivate these mental thought patterns, to deactivate the thick, heavy energies and emotions that weigh us down. Because even though it's the physical that's causing the mental and emotional stories to amplify, when we allow our mental and our emotional experience to be triggered and to spin out of control in relation to what's happening that is real, and because it's real, and because it's painful, and because it's difficult, and because it's disappointing, and because it's extremely hard, our mind and our emotions get in alignment with that. And they spin out of control. They spin to levels that make us take action for the crisis that we are enduring. This is how flight or fight works. The mind, the emotions, everything heightens and ramps up in relation to what you're experiencing so that you can take massive action and solve the problem and get out of the situation and save your life. This is a flight or fight response. But when you cannot get away from what's happening and the fight or flight system remains on and in a constant state of hypervigilance, and in a constant state of heightened negative stories and thoughts, and in a heightened state of thick negative emotions, feelings, and energies, we are feeding back in to the loop, causing the physical to amplify even more. So this is a self-fulfilling loop where this is amplified, so the brain amplifies, the emotions amplify, causing the physical to amplify more, causing our brain to amplify more, causing our emotions to amplify more, right? In these negative loop patterns, which feed on themselves. Their connection, remember, we are a mind, body, and a soul. We are one. So what happens in one area happens in all areas because we are one. However, we have a higher self that can look down and see the mind, the heart, and the body, all reacting in unison. But this higher self, our soul part, doesn't have to react. It can see the whole picture. It is the higher self. It's the truest you. It's your soul. It's the peace of God. It's the peace of source. Whatever you want to call it. It is the highest form of intelligence and awareness within you. It has all the knowledge and the wisdom and the intuition and the years of adaptive evolutionary history, as well as the insight into the cosmos from the source of all of creation. This magic and wisdom is within you. And so when we use our higher self to say no, I'm aware of what's happening. I can see what's happening. And I'm going to come to a place of neutrality. And a lot of times when we're doing manifestation work, or when we're looking at living from the end, or that the feeling is the state, we cannot go from a negative thought to a positive one. We cannot go from a negative energy or a negative emotion to a positive one quickly. We cannot usually do that without a story or a perception change at a fundamental level. And so when we realize we're caught up in the story, this is the moment not to switch into positive, but to come to neutrality. Because when we come into the present, when we come into the space of the present, we can see things with an awareness of neutrality. It's when we look too far into the future that our spiraling, anxious fight or flight system gets out of control. What if, and how long is it going to be? And all the stories that bridge that we see in between the present moment and however far we look out into the future. That is the chaos and the spiral that happens mind, body, and soul. And just like when we look into our past with what happened and where we've been and how much we've missed from however far we look back to where we are, that is the chaos, that is the loss, that is the disappointment that we face in these depressive and hopeless and helpless emotions that weigh us down. And however far we look, what if this goes on forever? Oh my God, look how much I've lost in the past. We see anxiety and we see depression. We see fear. We see deep sadness and wounding. But when we bring it down into just today, or just this hour, or just this minute, or just this moment, we can come to a neutral place. We can come to a space that is filled with this neutral energy, because there is nothing to what if about, or to spiral forward and worry about. And there is nothing to look back on with regret and longing and disappointment and sadness and hurt, and if only I could change it. There is just this moment. And yes, it hurts in the moment. Yes, you have a physical problem in the moment. But our mind can stay in the moment, and our heart can stay in the moment, our emotions can stay in the moment, and we can bring our thoughts to a focal point of neutrality and our emotions to a focal point of neutrality. And when our emotions aren't spinning and our thoughts aren't spinning, and we can come into the present moment, we are actually elevating our feeling. We are actually elevating our state. And I know a lot of people will think, but I'm not elevating it. I'm not changing it into a positive thought. I'm not changing it. I don't feel the feeling of joy or health or love or ease or whatever. Just coming to neutrality is elevating your state from hopelessness or anxiety, from spinning, from negative thought patterns, from old belief systems. When we come to neutrality, we see reality for what it is. We are presenced deeply in the moment. We can slow down the thoughts, and we can bring the energy to a place of neutrality. We can lose the weights that are pulling us down, or the fear that is bouncing around as we look forward. And we can breathe into what's here. We can feel into what's here. We can witness what is right here, right now, which is an illness, which is a symptom, which is a sensation. We can break it down to its basic level. This isn't an overwhelming illness that has to be here forever. This isn't even an ongoing symptom. This is a sensation that I am feeling right now, right here in the moment. And I don't have to have a negative emotion attached to it. I don't have to have a negative thought attached to it. I can feel it and allow it for what it is. I can allow it to be here in its fullness and learn to react and respond to it differently with a feeling of neutrality. And when I do that, I really am raising my vibration. I really am retraining my brain. This is a practice of brain retraining. This is a practice of elevating your emotions. Even though you're practicing neutrality, it's actually being elevated from where it was, which is very low on the energetic scale, which is very low in emotions. You can't swing the pendulum to the other side before you sit in neutrality. So neutrality is a raised vibration. A calm brain, a calm mind that allows what is to be, that feels even the negative with a different reaction, with a presence, neutral thought and thinking around it. When we drop the stories or the old beliefs or the patterns or the worries around what's happening, we can stay centered and neutral. And this is retraining our brain. This, in essence, is the first step in brain retraining. You cannot retrain your brain without coming first to peace, coming first to neutral, allowing what is to be here. And the way we retrain our brain is now we respond to it and react to it in a different way. We don't have to heighten our emotion and our thoughts to positive and to this joy or love-filled gratitude feeling. That is the end goal, yes. But we don't have to if we're not there. We just have to come to a space of neutrality where we can allow what is to be, give it space to breathe, process it, feel it in real time. This is healing work. When we look back at our past traumas and we heal them, we go back into them to feel them, to process them, to tell ourselves a new story. That is how we heal past trauma. We can do it in the present by allowing what is to be, by feeling everything that is, even if it's negative, by feeling it, and just not spinning a thought pattern or an energy emotional pattern that pulls us down. Just stay in neutrality. See it for what it is. Be with it with a calm state, a neutral state, an open state, a curious state, an unconditional, compassionate, love-filled state for yourself, and just be here. That is brain retraining. That is brain retraining. You are retraining yourself to think different thoughts in the moment, to react differently, to feel different emotions. You're retraining your biology when you're at neutral to slowly let go of that energy that's weighing us down and the thoughts that are keeping us stuck. And just by coming to neutrality, we do brain retraining. We are elevating our current state and emotion. And when you come to neutrality enough, eventually you will be able to tip the scale. You'll be able to spin a new positive story or see it with a lens of gratitude, or what this illness might be teaching you, what you may be learning from it, how you may be growing, what good is coming out of it. You may be able to raise your emotions to feeling gratitude, to feeling love for yourself and others, to feeling love for all that you've been through and who you are and this journey, and see the good still in the world. and what is working inside of you and what feels good. And you may be able to start to be able to feel the feelings of love, of happiness, of joy, of contentment, of peace. But that's not going to come right away when you're in such a state. When your physical body's in it, your mind is in it, your heart is in it, you're spinning, you're feeding yourself back into this loop, and you're causing amplification of the original illness, of the original wounding, of the original symptom and sensation. You're causing amplification, which causes more and more and more. And so we need our higher self to come online, to come on board. We need this wise higher self to see what's happening, to become aware of what's happening and just stop it. It doesn't need to do anything else but come into the present moment, come into neutrality. This is the first step to elevating your emotions. This is the first step to brain retraining. This is the first step to healing yourself, always. And you can practice this in any single situation that you're in, any single current trauma that you're facing, any single current symptom or sensation that is out of control, any current out of control thought or pattern or belief or story that you're telling yourself, any emotion that is overwhelming or out of control or feels too much to handle, too hard to bear, in these feeling and emotional states, in these thought patterns and beliefs, in these physical, symptomatic, and overwhelming sensations in our body, in any of them, we can presence ourselves. We can come to neutrality. We can calm the mind, the emotions, which in turn will help calm the physical body of whatever is happening. And we can do this in various ways. We can use our thoughts to help us calm. We can use our emotions to help us calm. We can use our feelings and our sensations to help us calm. We can do this with top-down processes or bottom-up processes. We can do this through brain retraining and mental and thought exercises, or we can do this somatically in the body. We can do this emotionally from our heart. But it always starts with slowing down, becoming aware, centering yourself, presencing yourself to the moment, and to slowly train ourselves to respond and react differently to our thoughts, to our emotions, and to our body sensations. To see the neutrality, to feel the neutrality, to allow what is to be there. To bring deep compassion and love into each moment. And this is healing. This is healing. This is how you heal. This is how we heal the past. We go back and do it in the past. This is how we heal anxiety in the future. When we do it right now with our current ongoing problem, we heal it as it's happening. So we don't have to go back years later and heal the trauma from it. We can heal ourselves in each moment this way. We can bring healing to what's happening, what is ongoing, to the open, ongoing wound. We can bring healing to ourselves in each moment if we practice getting present, being neutral, and teaching ourselves to respond and react and feel differently. When we bring unconditional love and compassion to ourselves in these moments, we are reacting and responding differently. This is not what we do when we're spinning out of control or when our energies are sinking into quicksand. This love and compassion and awareness that you're bringing to your current present moment is healing. This is the healing energy. If you practice this all day long, you will bring massive amounts of healing. You will bring massive amounts of elevation. You will bring massive amounts of elevating your vibration. You will bring massive amounts of brain retraining. You will bring massive amounts of compassion and love and insight and wisdom and truth and healing energy into your life. This is what heals. So I hope I've done a good job of explaining this. I know it can be difficult when it's overwhelming and when you're in the middle of it, because we're not thinking clearly. Our emotions aren't, everything is heightened. And when everything is heightened, we aren't bringing our higher self to the table. We're letting our small self, our ego self, our fight or flight nervous system, we're letting all these parts of ourselves run the show. And these parts aren't conducive to healing, but we can bring a healing to our present moment. We can practice this because the more we do, the faster we heal. So I hope I've done a really good job of explaining the mind-body healing work and integrating it with whatever you're doing to heal yourself physically, but how changing our thoughts and changing our emotions really can help de-escalate what's happening physically and actually bring healing from your mind and your heart into the physical body to help it heal. This is when mind, body, and soul come into alignment. And they come into alignment when our higher self's online and we can live from a state and see things from a state and feel things from a state of neutral energy, to sort of cancel out all these other crazy energies that are not working for us. And slowly we replace them for the thoughts and the energies that do pull us up, that are in alignment with health and healing and what we want. And eventually we will be able to feel those states, but don't try to get there right away. And remember, there is healing to be had in each moment. Each moment can be met with true healing. Each moment is an opportunity for true healing, no matter how bad it is, no matter how bad you feel. Mental, emotional, and physical healing is available to you in each moment. You just have to bring your higher self to it. The more you can do this, the more you will heal. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I sincerely hope it was helpful. If you resonate with this message, please consider subscribing and hitting the like button. And I will see you in the next video.